Three, two, one. Action. Welcome to the podcast Against the Ropes. I'm Chris Crossan and this is my wife Heidi.
Hi everyone.
So what's this podcast about? Basically, it's about what we do here at Legit Pro Wrestling School. You know, it's going to be covering martial arts, it's going to be covering what's going on here on a daily basis, also what's going on with our catch coach license group holders that are coaching catch throughout the world, that we're helping to spread the amazing art of catch wrestling. And we're going to be also speaking about mindset and anything really that pops up. And we're going to have guests on. So basically, in a nutshell, that's it. And today, I'd like to go over what's been happening in the last year with lockdown and whatnot. I was reading that 85% of small businesses have had to close down due to what's happened with lockdowns and everything. So I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, speak out about how blessed I am, how grateful I am that we've managed to carry on. We've ducked, we've dived, and yes, we've been against the ropes. And I remember at first, when first lockdown hit, just getting beeps, cancel. And it's getting to the point now where we're allowed to coach outside tomorrow, and there's not going to be many people there. For the simple fact is we haven't got that many students left. But what we do have is a bunch of loyal people who have carried on throughout this time. They've given it the best shot when the chips have been down. They've been there, and we thank them all from the bottom of our heart. And it's just going to get better and better now as we're getting out to the final stages of this lockdown. Before long, it's not going to be, people say about getting back to normality. It's going to be better than that. This is going to be the best time ever, I have no doubt. What do you think about that, Heidi?
Yeah, I think everything you said is right. Yeah, and I think like you just mentioned there about we put a post on for outdoor training from today. Actually, we're allowed to train outdoor for under 18s, and so it's the Easter holidays, so kids are off school. I thought we'd do some outdoor training while we're allowed, get the team together before the gym opens. So I put up a post on our student group just to say, comment below so that you can let me know who's training on what day, and then I'll arrange them into groups, because with all the rules and regulations they have to be sort of in groups of, I think, no more than 15 per coach, so we would be allowed 15 each at once. So I put the post out, and then I remember looking after about maybe 24 hours and thinking, there's not that many who've replied. And I was going to say, I think I actually did say it to you, I think there's not that many actually wanting to train. And then when I had a look, it was actually, that was about everybody. There was just not that many left. And it sort of reminded me of, it's been a full year now, literally, hasn't it? About a full year. I remember at the beginning of the first lockdown, we were teaching online lessons, as we have been through every lockdown.
We're teaching lessons all day, weren't we? Arts and craft, history of martial arts, Portuguese, everything, you name it, fitness.
Yeah,
I think we tried everything to keep people occupied.
Probably, to keep them occupied, and in just trying to offer value to keep the students. Really, it's quite sad looking back, because obviously the training in itself is what they want, but
we want to keep them engaged.
Yeah, definitely keep them busy, and it was new for everybody. But I remember just checking on my emails every day, and it'd be it seemed like every time I checked, probably checked 100 times a day, to be honest, it'd just say so and so is cancelled, and I remember one time just walking into the bedroom, and I was trying just to talk about it, and I just started to cry, saying it just felt sort of I guess all your hard work is slipping through your fingers, and that's how it all felt in the beginning anyway. But it's good to kind of see what I hope is the end of it. I think is definitely the end of it, and it's kind of starting from scratch again.
Yeah, but not from scratch, because we have a very strong foundation, and I know what you mean by starting from scratch. But and I remember back to that time as well, the time that you're speaking of, and it reminded me of the Rudyard Kipling poem, If. When it's everything that you've worked and toiled for it all just to be taken from you. And it was as if we were getting everything taken from us, but we had faith and we had to carry on. We couldn't just, our backs were against the ropes. We couldn't just lay over and die, for the simple fact that we have some amazing students who want to carry on training.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
was, you know, and we have who's watching us, our children, our family are watching us, our students are watching us. Like, how are we going to carry on? Are we
Yeah.
going to just give up, or are we going to stand up and fight? We're going to stand up and fight. We're going to carry on until we hear the bell. 100%. We're never going to stop. We're in the fight. We're going to keep going. And you know, business, it's like a fight, isn't it? When you look at it, and we're blessed because we've been surrounded by great people. The students that that could carried on, and that was great. You know, we have such a good support network. Obviously, Graham, who's been there through thick and thin, you know, guiding me.
Over all of the years,
yeah,
hasn't he?
forever and a day. He's seen something in me. He gave me a chance. That's what Graham did. Graham gave me a chance. He's seen something in me, and that was a big part of why I give up the security world. I stepped away from that. You wanted me to stop, and I did. And we started from scratch. But you know, right now we have an academy. You know, we have equipment. I remember when we didn't have much equipment. We started out by going around a lot of the rough estates where there was problems, and we were going in there and we were doing it free of charge. We were just getting out into the communities like Southbank, Port Clarence, Blue Hall. We were just serving the communities. We were getting out there. We were training on fields, have them wrestle on fields. We had our own pads. We'd take people on the pads. Looking back, it was an amazing time. It really was. And it just turned into something. We just carried on. I remember your uncle saying that you turn nothing into something.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great thing, isn't it? And we're not going to ever let this go. We don't only have this here. You know, we've had other groups where we've went out. We've had we used to have a busy club over in Newton Aycliffe, also in Middlesbrough. Then we sort of brought everybody into this building. But as I said, we're working with people online. We're working with people overseas, and we have a vision for Legit Pro Wrestling. You know, it's 10 years since the great Billy Robinson came here. I remember it was such an honour and a blessing to have him come here and coach. You know, he came with Jake Shannon from Scientific Wrestling, and we were overjoyed. And I remember Mr. Robinson seemed saddened that catch wrestling had almost been forgotten about here in England. I think it was 30 years since he'd last been to England. And within that time, he'd been in the US a lot. He'd been out in Japan where he was a total hero. They had like cartoon strips of him and stuff. And he came back and he was telling the story of a taxi driver, didn't know what catch wrestling was, but he knew what jiu-jitsu was. And I just thought to myself that day, like, I took an oath. I thought, I'll do everything I can to make catch wrestling grow again. And I have given it my best shot, but there's a lot of work ahead. You know, what we're really happy with is our youth program. And that's, we've been looking at things that we've been using this time to regroup and to assess. And obviously Heidi has a degree in a first class honours degree in childhood and youth studies, so all of that came into play, and we have a brand new program. Would you like to speak a little about the new program? Well, it's not only going to be, we're going to be bringing in the kickboxing, the jiu-jitsu, everything,
it's
all under the one banner.
well-rounded mix anyway, but basically this all obviously, like Chris said, I have a degree in childhood and youth studies, so there's all of that knowledge there in terms of child development. But in terms of how this came about, we always got a lot of people asking about younger children, didn't we? And sometimes that wasn't an age group that we really, you know, like we'd maybe start them from whatever
the parent
age.
and toddler group, didn't we?
We had that. Yeah, we've had that, and I used to do like sort of a community project called Tough Tots many years ago, and that's what made me realise how much I loved working with, especially really little children.
It was through Sunday school, wasn't it?
I
never wanted to coach. It's not that I didn't want to. To be honest, I was sort of fearful of coaching
afraid of it. It's
real little kids. Like I was
group.
working at this time. I was working full time here at Sun Seeds. I was working with youths who had been expelled from mainstream education. Some of them had already been in youth prisons and whatnot. So these were like 13, 14, 15, 16, really tough kind of wild kids.
Sort of the groups that nobody will.
Yeah, the people that nobody
have.
wanted to train. We were like, send us the kids that are out of control. And we were doing a great job with them. In fact, one year, I remember like almost all of them went to college in year 11, rather that they all did it extremely well. You know, people were shocked by the success that we had. I'd have them in here wrestling. I changed the diet because we realised they were on energy drinks. They're eating all types of bad food before school. Some of them weren't eating at all. So I remember we had Chris Carter in. We're making them, what's that type of bacon? Turkey bacon.
That's it, yeah.
Eggs. The full attitude changed. They were like a new bunch of young men. And Graham would do motivational talks with them on the afternoon. It was perfect. We'd bring people in. I know Simon Valdi came in and did a talk with them one day. It was like ex-gold medalist. gold medalist for boxing, heavyweight. I'm sure that your brother Richard May came in, who was
Yeah,
an
I'm sure,
Olympian
yeah.
and world champion in athletics. We're bringing people in, we're making them realise that it's not where you start that counts, it's where you finish. It doesn't matter what you go through on that journey, you know, you can change your ways. And it was massive, it was a success. And at this time, we're going to a church every Sunday called The Vine. And you know, the guy there, Mike Taylor, American guy who was the head of Youth for Christ, I believe, in this area, you know, Chris, we'd like you to come on board and work with the youngsters. I said, yeah, no problem. So I'm thinking I'm going to be working with like juniors, youths, and my daughter was in that group. They said, we want you to work with it was like preschool
They
and
were like
year
maybe
4,
5,
5,
6,
6, yeah.
oh, yes.
And I was like, what? I said yes because it's in the church. I didn't want to say no, but I remember my palms were sweating. I was thinking, what am I going to do
How
with
do I
all these
deal with
kids?
these little kids?
And obviously, I'd watched like Sinead and Rickson do lots of judo sessions with, so I'm used to that. Joe Glenn's an absolute legend of a coach. He's like in his 80s, and I've seen the way he runs classes. And so we get in there on this Sunday, and then one of the ladies said, so suddenly I'm a Sunday school teacher. She said, why don't you do one of your warm-ups? Why not? So next thing, Sunday school turns into like the blocking kicks, the throwing punches, the slipping, the rolling, and they're all having a load of fun. Then we give them a few Bible verses, we pray, and that was it. And I remember thinking to myself, we can do this.
Yeah.
You know, we can do it. And I remember there was a judo organization, Destination Judo. I thought, I like the way they do things. So I started just bouncing ideas off with Heidi, and we started making plans. And it was a little bit before then also, we had planned, we really wanted to push catch, didn't we? We really wanted to push. For me, catch is like a passion project. I love martial arts in general. I've trained them for my full life, but for me, catch wrestling, I'm really passionate. And as I said, when Billy came, it made me want to push it like so much more so, because it just isn't in the, it's getting there now, but most people, they'll know what jiu-jitsu is. I remember when people didn't know what jiu-jitsu was, when I tried to explain to them what I was doing, they thought it was karate. You know, people know karate, judo, taekwondo, boxing, MMA, but catch wrestling is still kind of in the shadows, and it's our job to change all of that. But yeah, the kids program all came from just, it was we were just pushed into that. It just happened, didn't it? It felt like it was meant to be.
Yeah, meant to be. So yeah, we've always worked with, well, not always, but for many years now, we've taught children, worked with children, children's projects, and yeah, so we'd always welcome children into the school, and the age would be very much dependent on the ability of the individual child, I would say. And sometimes we'd get them on with the parents, sometimes they'd be okay just to jump straight in on their own, but I found that more and more people have been asking lately about, maybe it's our...
Being inundated with requests.
Yeah,
I think it's word of mouth as well.
We have quite a few young children who are really good, don't we? We have
really good.
We have those little, we have like Lily Rain, Zach.
We have some junior black belt gradings ready, don't we? Like they're chomping at the bit, ready.
And I think when
They've
we
been
share
with us
posts,
like 3.5 years, 4 years.
When we share posts with those on it, it seems
impressive.
to get a lot of attention. Like, oh, they're quite little. We want our
And we
kids
have them
to do
doing
that.
all aspects, don't we? They're doing the
they're so
kickboxing,
skilled.
the STX. So they're doing bits of Thai, bits of kickboxing,
I would
boxing,
say those kind
wrestling, jiu-jitsu, they're doing it all.
The youngest children we have now sort of just fit into the programs that we already had going on. So we kind of came up with the idea of starting a younger age group program specifically for children 3 to 5 and 5 to 7, so that it can focus more on like the developmental side of
We've researched it a lot.
of it. Yeah, definitely. There's so much research gone into
Mindset
it.
goes into it.
So it's going to be a very well-rounded program. Instead of just sort of throwing them in and teaching them techniques, you know, and expecting them to do that well. We all know that children of that age, they just want to play and have fun.
Deliberate play is the key.
Yeah, absolutely. So if we can sort of make it playful and develop those motor skills while
And then they go into deliberate practice as they get older and they get more experience.
Yeah, definitely, and we hope that will channel them into the older age group programs that we have going on. So a lot of time has gone into developing those programs. But
the athleticism, I feel, is so important.
Oh yeah, definitely, so much, and it's so important that they have fun while they're doing it. You know, there's so many kids
being multi-skilled, not just doing one martial art or one sport.
Absolutely.
Multi-skilled and confidence. We get them in the ring singing, we get them in the ring
it's so
speaking.
Much more
it's about
than
confidence.
just
This
being
is
able
more
to
than
punch pads
just
and,
martial arts.
and
The art is as strong as the martial.
Absolutely, yeah.
In here.
And that they have fun is the main thing. What I've noticed that, especially with the younger children, when a parent comes on with them, they absolutely love it, don't they?
Yeah,
It's
it's
like,
great.
well, you know what kids are like, they love toy
It's
fighting
the
with
right,
their mum and dad, don't
it's like
they?
a recipe for success,
Yeah,
isn't
they
it?
just love it. So it's a very
Leave children in the room. I always say, if you leave some youngsters in the room on their own, you come back in, the chances are they're going to be wrestling. They're going to be pulling
definitely.
about, wrestling with each other, smiling, laughing.
Yeah,
You know, I believe children need
Absolutely.
wrestling 100%.
Yeah.
Look at what animals do, and it's also the parents with the animals.
instinctive, isn't
It is.
it?
It's
It's
instinctive.
instinctive.
Anybody can wrestle, and we work with
Yeah.
children that they say have additional needs. I call them superpowers
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
for me, these children are just on a different level.
They
They're
just
geniuses
need
when
the
it
right
comes to
outlet
putting
with
them on
that.
the mat and getting them in the
Absolutely.
ring.
Yeah.
And we've been researching how. We've been trying to research, you know, how they train youngsters in Russia, because I feel the system in Russia is unbelievable. So
Yeah.
at the beginning of lockdown, I had more time. I started to study Russian.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't understand Cyrillics at all, the Cyrillic language. I can now. I've been practicing daily
Yep.
for quite some time, but it's still difficult for me to get my hands on certain things that I feel are out there. Obviously, the Soviet Union were very secretive, but now I
Yeah.
can access. I can start to access a lot of things I couldn't access before. But I'm kind of I'm really, what's the word that I'm looking for? I'm not. This is an English word.
He's
so I'm
forgetting
struggling.
English lately.
So
lately
I'm,
he's forgetting how to speak English.
I've
He
been
speaks that
studying a
many
lot of languages,
different
haven't I, throughout
languages.
this time?
He forgets English. Oh, he says, what's the word that I'm trying to...
Yeah, I'm not sure what this word is, what I'm trying to find, but I'm kind of not in awe, but I'm
Intrigued.
Yeah, intrigued by the Soviet Union as a whole, because our Coach Georgi Georgiev, is an absolute fantastic coach and competitor in his own
he's
right.
great.
He's world class. He's a top sambo player, judo player, and also an amazing Greco-Roman wrestler. I've really missed Georgie coming
he's
in.
great with the kids too as well, isn't he?
Absolutely
The
amazing.
kids
I
love
learned a lot
Georgie.
from watching him.
Yeah.
And he'd be here like once a month, once every 2 months. He's been working with us now since 2013, and the way he does things is different, and he's had a big influence on the way that we do things here. Like growing up, obviously the Soviet Union, and it was like the Cold War, so I was always intrigued. I remember watching Rocky IV, and it was like, wow, it's so different. And what I have realized is when I've made friends with people from not just Russia but all old Soviet Union countries, or any countries I've visited in the world, the people are all the same. The people that wrestle, the people that train martial arts, they're all the same.
There's like a common,
politics and all this other bullshit that's out there.
It
doesn't matter with sport. People just want to get out there. They want to get on the mat. They want to wrestle, or they want to box, or they want to do athletics, whatever it is. And that for
breaks
me,
down those boundaries,
it breaks
doesn't it?
barriers.
Definitely.
Look at all the what you can't see. We have flags from every nation.
Yeah, we do.
We have
many
we have the
flags.
Russian flag. We have the Iranian flag.
Yeah.
All countries. If there's a country, if we have a link with somebody that's been here, we'll put the flag up.
If you're watching and you want your flag up, let us know.
Yeah, please let us know. Or please send us a flag and we'll put it up, no doubt. But yeah, and also we have the big influence from when we're going out to America. I've been blessed to spend a lot of time in the States since first going out there to compete in the USA versus the World event in 2014. I've been getting out there every year until COVID hit. I've been learning a lot from my coach, Sensei Eric Paulson, and his coaches there at CSW. They've trained people up to the highest levels, like UFC champions, but I'm always like in awe of the way they run the programs, the energy that they have in America when they're coaching not only the juniors but the adults, and that's the energy we do have in here. When we come in here, it's high energy. You walk in some academies and it's as if like you're going to a funeral, and here we're bouncing, we're on top of the world, and that's, but if you're spending time in here, you should be looking forward to it. I want everybody that comes here, I want this to be their favorite activity. That's my goal. It's like, it has to be, because it's just a big family. When we're here, we're at home, and everybody's like that, and that's why it's been hard for us not being in here. It has, and you end up really caring about the people that you're seeing, and you're training alongside. There's a camaraderie that it's unrivaled, and especially when you're working with youngsters, you see them from being real small into I've trained 3 generations of people, where it's been granddad, son, and grandson, like 3 times. I'm not that old, by the way, but I did start training when I was and coaching when I was young.
We have like a lot of families where the whole family literally train.
Yeah, there's nothing better than that. I love it.
You
I
do
really
become
do
very
love it.
attached to them. They become they are your family, aren't they? And you worry about them when you spend time away from them. I think just little things, like you'll think about them maybe on the night. I know I do. Like
When it's the
when
birthdays,
you,
normally
yeah.
we're sharing birthdays with
Or you'll
them and
think, I
things like
wonder how
that.
they're doing in school, and you know,
And
little.
I know when somebody's not had a good day
Yeah,
at school straight away.
yeah,
What's
you
wrong?
know,
I just
don't
know
you?
you know, they say that 93% of language is non-verbal, and with children I think it's even higher. You know how somebody is, and
Yeah.
it's good because
Definitely.
that's our gift. I believe that's our gift, and when we've not had the chance to serve what we have,
Yeah.
but online, Heidi's been doing
Yeah.
working hard with the online session, but we have coached hundreds, haven't we, over the
Oh, absolutely.
both
Yeah.
lockdowns, and you totally took over in this last lockdown.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, we've been coaching online sessions, which is, obviously it's not ideal, is it? It's not, you know, you haven't got that same interaction, that hands-on.
For me, I'm
sort of
high energy when I
coaching,
coach.
yeah,
so
it's-
coaching online, it's not my forte. It's
difficult.
not my cup of tea.
It's difficult, and you are very restricted. You've got to remember they're at home, probably in their living room. I mean, a lot of the time I was at home in the living room coaching, so they've got all of that. They're in a smaller space. They haven't got their equipment. There's most of the time, unless they have a brother or sister, there's just them. So it has to be all solo training. It's, you know, we've had to adapt a lot, really, I guess. And,
We've improvised, we've
Yeah.
adapted, and we've overcame.
but we've kept going, and I think the kids who joined in online have enjoyed it. Yeah, it's probably given them
100%.
something to look forward to after school. You know, maybe stressful day. School's very different for children nowadays, with even restrictions and
And I
things
believe
going
that
on
people
there.
are going to come out with this stronger
Yeah.
and resilient, and that's one good thing that
Yeah.
everybody can take from this.
Definitely, and I think
We've had
that
to
applies,
adapt.
like at all times. I think, you know, just the everyday stresses. You notice they come in with those. You know, you can see the stress on their face, and then it just leaves them when they're here, doesn't it? You know, it's sort of, it's an outlet
It's everybody's happy place.
for that. So yeah.
You know, I just, again, from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to thank not only
Absolutely, yeah.
all of our students and parents here, but all of our Catch Coach license
Yeah.
holders as well, because
We're so grateful.
they've been in the same boat as us, and
Yeah.
I'm really happy that I've been able to keep all of my memberships going, and
Yeah.
it's it's been a blessing,
It's
hasn't
been
it?
very much like, I think in the martial arts world, it's a community where they kind of support each other, don't they?
Yeah.
It works both ways.
I've
and-
really missed the work I've been doing. Normally I'm out with Graham, we go fishing for men,
Yeah,
don't we?
yeah.
We're out there
Doing
and
the community
we're
stuff
interacting
and-
with people, and we're doing things where Graham's obviously still
It's
been
been
doing a lot
quite
of work in the schools, but normally we'll have children from other schools
Yeah.
in here, and it's as if a big part of what's been going on has been taken.
Yeah.
But you know, on the other hand, I've worked a lot.
Yeah.
I've
What would you say are some of like
I've
the
developed some
positives
other
you've taken
skills.
out of like the past year?
I
know
definitely
there's so much
I
coming
did a
in,
lot of language studies, so I
Yeah,
got
yeah.
to like intermediate level in Russian, conversationally fluent. I can that's and at the beginning that seemed like maybe an impossibility. A little bit of Italian. We went out to
Yeah,
we had that
yeah,
Brit
we
went
did,
out to
yeah.
Italy, and that little bit. But Spanish I've really focused on, because in about May I did an interview, a podcast in Spanish, and I was like, oh man,
Yeah,
that was
I
terrible,
remember the
because
affiliate.
I kept on speaking Portuguese. Obviously, I used to spend a lot of time
Yeah.
living in Brazil. And I thought I really need to brush up on that. So it's, yeah, things like that. It's just been nice to have normally, well, it's not that I don't normally have the time. We all have the same 24 hours in the day. I preach
Yeah.
that a lot, but I've used that to focus myself, where I've been like studying certain things at certain times. I've been reading at certain times. And also I feel that we've got a really good routine where we're getting to bed earlier, but normally back in pre-COVID, sometimes we're not
manic.
getting out of here till
It's crazy,
crazy
isn't it?
times. All you school owners will understand,
Yeah.
because you finish the session, everybody's feeling good.
Yeah.
People want to start speaking, and next thing it's 11 o'clock, and then we have an et, and then
Yeah.
oh no, then
It's really hard to
and then we're up
separate
early
that,
again the next day, get the
like,
kids ready,
home
get out,
life
because
and
we have a
gym
class on
life,
the
isn't
morning.
it?
So yeah,
can be hard
from now
to-
on, I am going to be more disciplined
Yeah.
with times and whatnot, and I'm loving getting up early. I'm beating
Yeah,
my alarm clock.
definitely.
The birds are my alarm clock, and sometimes I'm getting up before the birds, and I'm getting a lot done on the morning. Yeah, and I feel like our routine is is dialed in well.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have
I think
anything
so.
else to add before? I'm not even sure on how long this is. Yeah, about half an hour. This is about right.
I just think, even though it's been a tough year for everyone, really, there's so much positive you can take from it as well. Like, even
No
we've
pressure, no
we've had to
diamonds.
spend more time with the kids at home, and yeah, so I guess there's always positives to take from it. And then now we're at the stage where we can really look forward to.
I think that's the key looking forward.
Yeah,
Obviously,
you know,
we're going to be
having-
coaching the youngsters outside, and in 2 weeks' time, we can bring them back in, and then seniors can come in and do their own training.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, we're getting there, aren't we?
Yeah.
There's light at the end of the tunnel,
Yeah.
as they say. And I'm excited. I'm chomping at the bit, and I can't wait. Obviously, once we get the green light, we're going to be having our monthly catch camps here, the seminars, and that's good because we get people coming from all around the UK. We have people from some of our overseas students want to come over.
Yeah.
I know we have like Wendell, he comes all the way from London. He fights, he's an MMA fighter, pro fighter. He'd travel from London. It'd take him like 3.5 hours on trains, getting 3 different trains. He'd come here and he said that what he learns in like 2 hours, 3 hours of private training here, he'd have to go to 3 different schools in London. So, you know, it really is a blessing that for me that I've just carried on with martial arts over all these years, and then, you know, amassed knowledge that I can give out to people, I can serve people with. For me, that's a total blessing, as well as martial arts. Obviously, Eddie, you've been training in martial arts for a long time now. You started off with athletics, didn't you? Competing a lot as a junior.
Yeah.
Do you want to share a little bit about that?
So obviously my brother Richard is a runner. He's a Team GB sprinter. He was captain of the European. Chris always remembers the stats better than I do.
I've got a brain for
he's got that kind of memory, so I don't want to say it wrong, but he was world champion 60 metre indoors. You can
2
look
times
up
European champion
You can
indoor,
look him up anyway, Richard
Commonwealth
Kilty.
Games gold medalist.
Yeah, that's my brother anyway. So obviously he started at a very young age in athletics. I think he was maybe like 9-year-old or something when he started to run, and I'd always tried many different sports as a youngster up until that age. And I remember one time he just said to me, I was actually dancing when I was maybe around about this age, and I said to him, I'm sick of doing this, I don't like it anymore, I don't like dancing anymore. And he said, why don't you go running? And I thought, oh, that's a good idea. So that was what started it all off. I guess I just copied off him. We were obviously very close, so I followed in his footsteps. And at a young age in athletics, you kind of try a bit of everything a lot of the time. Obviously, Richard was a sprinter, and I knew that's probably what I would do.
You've won championships,
You
100,
try a
200,
lot,
cross country. You won.
But
you're successful.
I've won championships in 60 metre, 100 metre, 200 metre. So I was competitive athlete up until.
And then you were training for a fight when you fell pregnant with Caesar, weren't you? And then...
So my background as a child and a teenager was athletics. Injury actually was what steered me away from that and into martial arts. And yeah, so that's my background basically. Was an athlete turned.
So do you feel that growing up as an athlete has really helped you now as when you're coaching youngsters?
Yeah, I feel like I know what it is like to compete. I know what it's like to be, you know, a child in that kind of environment and situation. I also know the things that put me off, the things that held me back, the things that maybe restricted me in a lot of ways, and how that could be maybe prevented, and to keep, especially I know girls statistically, they drop out of sport in their teen years. Like the rate of dropout is crazy.
Did you do your dissertation on that?
I did, yeah. It was like I did it's like children's mental health, but a big part of it in sport, so how mental health and physical exercise, but a big part of it was there's sort of a correlation between teenage girls dropping out and their mental health declining at that same age. So I think like it's so important.
It's not a shock, is it?
No, not at all. And I know from my experience as a teenage girl, you sort of you drop out and your mental health suffers, because that's your sport and your exercise is a big part of keeping your mental health
Think of how
well.
good you feel after training.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what
definitely.
like when we mentioned about after training, but he's sitting about wanting to talk, the endorphins are through the roof.
I feel like more than
it's
anything,
important, it really is, it's essential.
The thing about keeping kids involved, especially through those teenage years, is it being fun? Is it being like a welcoming, fun environment? Because sport can be quite hostile, can't it? It can be high pressure, and I just think at
You have
that
to
age,
find the right balance, and we're both the same. We
Yeah.
don't want to put pressure on them, do we? I always say I
No.
don't want to create the best 18-year-old, I want to create the best 28-year-old
think they already
who's
put-
winning when
yeah.
they're 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It does not matter, because children have 2 ages.
Yeah.
You know, they have the biological age and the chronological age. So some kids, you know, they might be 7-year-old, but it's as if they're 10 years old.
Yeah.
I remember when we had Amin. Amin was 12, 13, competing. He was 120 kilos. He'd compete in adult advanced as
Yeah,
well
it's
when he was
crazy.
13 years old. It's just the way it is. You know, some people
Yeah.
have like, mustaches and whatnot
True, yeah.
when they're 11. Some people have a squeaky voice till when they're 17.
Yeah.
Some people are late bloomers.
Absolutely.
It's just how it is. It's one of those things. So I believe that working on character,
Yeah.
working on mindset, you know, working on personal development is vital, because not everybody's going to be UFC champion, not everybody's going to be an Olympian, but everybody can learn martial arts, you know, and they can all develop habits.
Yeah.
They can all learn many skills that are going to help them in the real life. I always say it's about the things you learn in the ring and
Yeah.
on the mat, it's about using them when
Yeah.
you get out there. And then
Absolutely.
that's really our ethos is that, you know, we want to create better men, better women,
Yeah,
better
definitely.
youngsters. That's our key. It's betterment, and for me, that's what the martial arts is. And I remember my coach Eric Paulson saying to me that healing is the highest echelon of martial arts. And Heidi just touched on something there about mental health, and I believe that as well as physical healing, you know, there's spiritual healing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Most definitely, you know, there's spiritual healing, there's mental healing, and I really, it seems a little deep, but it is deep. And for me, martial arts has healed me in many, many ways. And
No,
for
I
me to
agree.
be able to pass that back on to others, that's the greatest gift that I have right now. Oh yeah, another good thing that happened in the lockdown, the release of the book.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Big,
and
big
then the book,
project we've
it
been-
was finished, wasn't it? And we were like, oh, we're not going to put it out because we
Yeah.
wanted to put it out St. Patrick's Day when our show was, and then it was a bad time, lockdowns coming up and
Yeah.
everything, lockdown was looming. We thought, how can we put a book out about positivity in
Yeah,
this
no,
time?
I
And we were
agree.
like, well, how can't we?
Yeah.
And then I was chatting through italki. italki is a great platform where you can chat with native speakers.
Yeah.
You can help them with the language that they're interested in. You can also do paid classes. And I got chatting with a young fella called Mitch, a
Yeah.
Brazilian who spoke amazing English, amazing German and Spanish as well as Portuguese. And I was really shocked when he was speaking because he had like a twang when he was speaking English. I thought he sounded like
Did
Klopp.
you sound like a bit
Yes,
German, do you
yeah, I
think?
thought he sounds a bit like Klopp, this kid. And he really helped me improve Portuguese because obviously I spent a lot of time out in Brazil, but
Yeah.
I only went to school in Brazil for a couple of months. I didn't spend a lot of time really learning. I used a lot of bad slang and things like that. And we'd help each other. And I really encouraged him to become a teacher, but he said, I've tried once, I got knocked back. I remember him saying, like, he said once that he was poor. I went, whoa, whoa, whoa. I said, stop saying that. You've got to never, ever say that, or it'll become a self-fulfilling prophecy. I told him about the power of words, the power of positivity. And I said, I have something I want you to read. He was the first person to read the book. I just sent him it by email, and it really had an effect on him. And I said to him, look, you've got to apply again to be a teacher on italki. He applied again, he got knocked back.
Yeah.
I said, look, it's one of those things, do it again. As Billy Robinson used to say, do it again.
Do it again.
I said, you've got to make that video a little bit better. I didn't think it was up to scratch. Film it outside. He filmed it outside, and now fast forward, like almost a year, he messaged me a couple of days ago, he did 12 lessons in a day. And when you think, you know, that's Brazil, it's a third world country, and
Yeah.
the way the economy is, I think it like one...
It's big money there.
Yeah, I
really.
think that like, it's 1 to 9, isn't it? Like one...
I'm not sure off the top of my
Yeah,
head.
I think
but
you get like 9 reais for one English pound or
With-
something like that.
with
So
the,
it's
yeah.
amazing, and I was really happy when he took it on board, and I just thought, wow, I've just helped somebody in Brazil, not through martial arts, through mindset. So I thought, yeah, it's time
But through
to get it out there.
like you could say the skills that the skills and values that you've
Come
taken
from martial arts, yeah,
so,
most definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
most definitely. It's well, in that book, nearly every lesson in that book was related to martial
Yeah,
arts to
definitely.
some degree.
So yeah, that was a big project that you worked on
Yeah,
during
so
this
I'm
time.
happy
wasn't
with
it?
that, and thank you to Mitch because
Yeah,
that really
definitely.
made me realise, you know, and for me, being able to shine some light into somebody else's life is a total blessing.
And it's sort of short and sweet and just
Yeah,
to the point.
It's an
isn't it?
easy read. The way we
Yeah.
put it together,
The
it's
way
an
he
easy
made it
read.
was
It's
sort of- he wanted
it's
to-
seven. It's an
yeah.
intro and 7 life
Yeah.
lessons, and it's not like it's different. You'll see when you
Yeah.
read it. If you have read it, you'll know. It's different. It's not like the
not
normal book that you
biography,
pick up. No,
it's-
but it is kind of
yeah.
biographical,
There is some
biographical too.
stories. Yeah.
So it's
definitely.
there's, and also we have another project that's kind of gonna run in line with the book,
Yeah.
the video course.
Course,
So
yeah.
you know, keep your eyes out for that. I'd just like to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart for listening. Well, we're going to carry on with this. Sometimes I'm going to have guests coming in and whatnot. This is just a little bit of fun, but we thought we'll give it a name, Against the Ropes,
Yeah.
because we're against the ropes, and
Yeah.
also we've all been against the ropes to some extent this past year.
Yeah.
So do you have anything to finish with,
No,
Heidi?
I hope you enjoyed our little recap of the past
last year.
The past year, the ups and downs of the last year. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank
and as
you
I
very
say to my
much.
children every morning on the way out to school, be strong, be brave, be kind. God bless you.